Good morning, Awakeners. Have you ever noticed how certain art materials feel different in your hands? Maybe even their presence depends on your mood and energy that day. Today, I want to dive into the magic of markers, why they are unique, how they affect the brain, and how you can use them in your daily practice. Markers aren't often discussed in expressive therapies, but they hold a unique place between control and flow. Today, I'm going to explore how they interact with the brain and why they're an underrated tool for creative healing. The markers I'm using in this video are water-based and they have a brush tip. There are two sides to this marker, and in this video I'll be using the brush end, but the other end is wonderful for journaling. I love having lots of different colors in my journal for writing. The unique thing about markers is that they lie in the halfway point between the resistant and fluid realm of media for the brain. What I mean by this is that resistant media, such as working with metal, wood, clay, down to pencil, crayon, are all considered resistive, and they offer one control and safety when working with them. Fluid media, such as working with watercolor, especially wet-on-wet painting, as I showed you last week, to finger painting and chalk pastels and the oil pastels, meeting up with markers in the midpoint between resistive and fluid media. Now, fluid media has the ability to activate energy and emotion in oneself, and resistive media has the ability to offer control and safety. So markers meet at the midpoint and can offer someone, in theory, both of these opportunities. Markers offer flow and structure simultaneously, especially these water-based markers. There are times when I'm feeling very overwhelmed that I do choose markers because of their wetness and heaviness. With these markers in particular, I really enjoy watching how the colors overlap and flow from the pen with minimal effort. I'm not aware of it at the time, but it does feel like the energy of the problem is flowing out of me via the pen, and I get to play and interact with it. Giving it shape and form, I get control of it. Plus, the focus of trying to get one line directly beside the other line allows for focus, and it takes my mind off whatever was overwhelming it. Shapes activate the perceptual part of our brain, helping us organize thoughts. Whether you're sketching abstract patterns or structured forms like squares and circles, the process can be meditative, bringing both sides of the brain into balance. For example, you could think of a problem you are having, such as the overwhelming emotion itself, and capture its energy, or maybe it's the person, place, or thing that is causing the overwhelming sensation. Make it into a shape. Follow the energy of the issue with your marker. I often use abstract shapes and fill them in, but if you are more of a left brain person, you might enjoy drawing an actual person or a defined shape like a square or circle and shading it in. The goal or intention is to, quote, use visual imagery to represent internal experiences, end quote, by Lisa Hinz. Your emotion gives energy to the shape you create. I'm using multimedia paper, but it would be a totally different experience on the back of a receipt, for example, versus watercolor paper or maybe even an old cereal box. Also, the stronger your emotions, the more likely you will need to make concrete shapes, transition into more resistive material. I will have more on this in a future video. Since perceptual component is a left brain activity, it does work best with resistive materials, especially if its counterpart, emotions, is overactive. Did you know your nervous system naturally seeks balance through visual patterns? When you create shapes, your brain instinctively tries to complete them, bringing a sense of order and closure. As Lisa Hinz explains, our perception can't tolerate instability, so by finishing an image, you're also subconsciously processing emotions. This is why art can be so regulating, even when you're not consciously aware of its effects. After you've finished your image, take a moment to reflect. The colors you instinctively chose might hold meaning, either as emotions within you or as reflections of something happening in your life. Are they soft and calming, bold and intense? Noticing this can give you insight into your internal state. Markers come in all types: water-based, alcohol-based, acrylic, permanent. But for journaling and daily practice, water-based markers with a flexible tip offer both ease and control. For my purposes here, markers can obviously be used in a variety of art directives, but to use daily in your journal as a practice can be very soothing, calming for the emotions, yet help you to focus and provide ground and security. I invite you to try using markers in your journal practice this week. Play with shapes, strokes, and colors. See what feels natural, what surprises you, or what emotions come up.